Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. Tonight, as you have probably seen in the title of the video, I'm going to talk about getting to know self, why that is so important. This video really is all about you, and it's a very important aspect of mediumship where you are truly in touch with self. One of the main reasons being that spirit will only work with true self. Okay, because they pick up on that. They know who you really are. You can hide what you like, spirit will find it. So emotionally, it's important that you are quite level within self, because spirit like to work with emotion, especially when communicating. That's how sometimes they can get some of their messages through. That's how they can blend with you through kind of kick-starting off an emotion. So your senses, all the sides of you which are the real you, not the one that you necessarily take to work every day, or the stressed out one. It's the real self. It's the spirit energy. It's your soul that they are communicating with. On the physical side of self, okay, the actual mind, they are not communicating through that at all. They are communicating obviously through energy, not the physical mind. So it's important that the energy you give out is a truthful one, is a clear one for them to be able to communicate through. So if you're doing a reading and there's a certain emotion that they are trying to get through to you from maybe an energy that's with them, with your helpers, and they're trying to portray that emotion through to you, then obviously you need to be well aware of what it is that they are trying to tell you. So it sounds a bit complex in a way. It's very difficult to explain it, but just bear with me and hopefully it'll become clearer as we go on with the video. So I hark on about getting to know oneself in a number of videos, and I also go on a lot about how important that is. But obviously it's something you need to understand and be able, to be able to work with it. You need to be quite clear on what I'm trying to say. So one reason that spirit insist, in a sense, on this, and obviously they understand the fact that we are human beings. They've been here, they've dealt with many issues like we go through every day. They've dealt with those issues in their lives, and so they do truly understand what we are going through as human beings, and there are allowances for that, obviously. Okay, none of us are holier than thou. We do not walk on water or anything like that. We are normal everyday guys and girls, if you like, with a keen interest in being able to communicate with them. Okay, so they do understand more than what we think sometimes. So getting to know self, probably the most difficult aspect of that, is trying to push away a lot of things that you've learned, I guess, over the years. To know true self is to know how you react in certain circumstances, for argument's sake, and being aware of how you react. That is the key, is being aware of your reactions, understanding why you react in that way. And sometimes it's worth looking into why you react that way. Is it something that you've been told to do? Is it something that is just naturally there? Is it something maybe you've inherited from family? When we're little and we see reactions from other people, and especially from our parents, we tend to follow suit with that because we have learned that that is the way you react. So one aspect of learning about true self is making sure that that reaction is your reaction, not one that you've picked up along the way. So if we can just, easier said than done, but if we can just move that away from self, in other words, think about it, am I really comfortable in reacting that way? Does that sit right with me, or is it just something I've picked up, something I've been taught? So, let's try and find an example of that. There may well be, say you may have a parent who's racist, okay, and you've been brought up in that household, hearing comments about other people that are not nice, okay, not good, and your reaction is very similar. But sometimes people will still react in that way, even though they're not comfortable with it. It's just what they've been taught. It's just baggage that they are carrying. So, a really good start on really getting to know oneself is to remove that baggage. It's difficult, but one good way of doing it is to have time with yourself. I go on about sitting in silence. This is a kind of aspect of that, but you are sitting for yourself. And a good way of doing this is to go through your day. So if you've home from work, got the children in bed or whatever, and you've got a bit of time, think about your reactions through the day and why you reacted that way. And it's quite surprising sometimes when you start to question, well, I wasn't really really very nice. I shouldn't have reacted in that way. Why did I do that? Start to question yourself, because the minute you start to question it, you will then accept it's not right and you will do something about it. It's being aware, isn't it? Once you're aware of a problem, you can then deal with it. But if you don't try and even become aware of it, then you'll just go on doing it. Okay, so awareness is the key. You need to be aware of your own reactions, your own words. You need to be aware of that. So like I said, a good way is to spend time in peace and quiet and go through your day in your mind, the way you reacted. You may have been told off by the boss at work and you reacted quite fiercely, or was that the right way of dealing with that situation? And it's surprising when you look back on how you react to certain circumstances, how shocked you can be. Because, the number of times you hear people say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that. So you are acting on the back of an emotion, and normally that emotion that you are acting on is something that you've been taught or you've picked up along the way. It's not truly how you wish to have reacted. So if you think to yourself, well, I would have been better accepting that criticism, because, sometimes I can be a little bit slow at doing that, or I am well behind with that. So, but defence is a natural thing, isn't it? You tend sometimes just to try and defend yourself, even though in the very back of your mind you're thinking, hang on, I may well have done that, I could have done better. So if you accept that fact that you could have done better, then maybe your reaction would have been a lot different. So instead of defending yourself, you may well have said, I'm sorry. And it may be that you need help or guidance in doing something just to help you improve. So rather than defend yourself, ask for help. Say, well, could somebody just spend a bit of time with me and show me how to do this a little bit quicker? I'm happy to learn. And 9 times out of 10, people will go, yeah, great. Yeah, we'll help you with that. So pride is another thing, isn't it? Pride is another emotion where, we try and hide behind our true selves because of pride. So that is something else that sometimes we have to consider. Drop the pride and face the problem and deal with it. Sometimes is a lot better than just pushing it away. So yeah, when I talk about learning about yourself, then sometimes it can be quite surprising, but it's something, and I think with mediumship it just enhances it. I think it makes it better. You're more at peace with yourself. When you're more at peace with yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, all work hand in hand, and you're a lot happier. So, I don't really want to keep repeating myself, but it is so, so important in mediumship that you are truly in touch with self. And sometimes somebody might make a comment to you, oh, you acted a bit oddly, or you acted a bit strange then. Why was that? Don't just run away from it. Just consider it. You don't have to consider it there and then. It's something you can do once you're sitting in silence at home at night and just running through your day. Think, well, why? Yeah, I did act a bit strange then. That's fine. We are all different, obviously. It'd be a strange world if we was all the same. So we are all different. But if we can just shift some of that baggage that we've basically picked up along the way, and start to look at how we truly feel in certain circumstances, rather than how someone has told us to feel, how someone has told us to react. If inside you don't feel something is right, the chances are it is not. So rather than just put on or act out that reaction that you've been taught, act in a way that sits right with you. Because like I said, the chances are if you do that, you are reacting correctly. So it's all about emotion and reactions. So get to know yourself truly and spend that time with yourself, because it will pay dividends. We are not what we are taught, okay? We are blindfolded virtually from birth, and we are led down the path which we have been told is correct. Okay, there's a lot to be said, obviously, for the nice kind of the soul, the nice side of the soul. Being kind, polite, manners, respectful. There's a lot to be said for that. But pushing that aside, we also need to look at maybe the more negative side of things, the negative emotions and how we portray those. There are things like maybe jealousy is a negative emotion. I think there's an element of that in most people, but more so in some than others. So, there are natural emotions that are there, but these natural emotions are chemical reactions within the mind, basically. Most emotions are quite chemical. They are triggered by the mind. So it's important that we learn to control that side of ourselves. So it's your spirit, your energy, your soul that is making that communication with spirit. It is that part of you that will pass on into spirit world when the material body fails. You're going to be using that energy now for your mediumship. So it's important you are in touch with it. Okay? Not in touch with anything plastic out there in the big wide world. It is totally irrelevant in the bigger picture. Okay? I know we need to eat, we need to have a roof over our heads and all that. But when we go, and it's been said a million times, is that you can't take it with you, and we won't. What you will be remembered for is not the size of your house, your big posh car, how much money was in the bank. You will be remembered for the person you are. So work with that. Work on being that true self. And it doesn't matter. You may well lose friends. They might think you've lost the plot. It doesn't matter, because you will be at peace inside. On my Patreon, I'm going to do a more in-depth talk about this, okay, and guide you with this. And it will, like I said, you will feel so much better for doing it, and it will help with the mediumship side of things. So be true to yourself. And another thing I'll just mention is also be true with your intent. So, it must be true, the intention, your reasoning behind why you want to practice mediumship. What does it mean to you, for yourself? And it's important that you know the answer to that. So I hope I haven't gone too deep with this, but like I said, on my Patreon, I do a lot kind of deeper talks about these aspects of mediumship. I did one last night for a more in-depth sitting in the power, a guided meditation, if you like, whereas it's not meditation, as you know. I don't call it that, but just for your understanding, sitting in the power. I've done a little talk before just to explain what sitting in the power is. Then I've guided you into a state of quiet, of peace, of space, and virtually left you there, let you get on with it. And obviously I help pull you back from that. But enjoy your evening. I hope that little talk helps a bit. Like I said, it's a bit on the deep side of things, and don't worry. It takes probably years just to keep working through things. We all have history. We all have a story to tell. But surprising how easy it is just to push that away. But subconsciously, you are still living it in a sense. So accepting it and dealing with it makes a world of difference. So have some time for you, okay? You are what's important. You are going to be that connection. So, it's well worth working with that aspect of self. Enjoy your evening. Please like and subscribe. It means the world to me. Have a look at Patreon if you like. Exactly the same title if you do a search on there. You, Me and Mediumship. Hope you've enjoyed the talk, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.